بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our discussion about causality from 7th section المرحلة السابعة الفصل الرابع قاعده الواحد قاعده الواحد. So this is the chapter 4. It's a famous rule in philosophy called al-Wahid, the one, the single. Muslim philosophers say, al-Wahidu la yasturu anhu illa al-Wahid. If you have one simple thing, what can come from it can only be one single thing. Although some mutakallimin like Fakhr al-Razi and others have tried to question this, and they have tried to say that the fact that we have one God but many creatures shows that from Wahid Kathir can come, multiple can come. But philosophers say this is the rule, and actually they say this is badihi. If you can just conceive, if you can do tasawwur of mawzu and mahmul, you would yourself confirm it. Okay? So what is very important is to have proper understanding of what they mean. What they mean by al-Wahidu la yasturu anhu illa al-Wahid. I first explain the meaning of Wahid, and then I explain the relation that should be between cause and effect. Then we go to the rule. Wahid here is opposite to Kathir. Sometimes you have one thing, sometimes you have several things. Inshallah, in future, there would be a discussion. Al-Marhalatu Thamina, the next section is فانقسام الموجود إلى الواحد والكثير. Mawjud is divided into one and multiple. So, Wahid means one. Kathir means multiple. But sometimes it's a matter of your consideration. For example, we are kathir if you consider us as individuals. We are different in our age, we are different in our gender, in our shape, in our location, and so on and so forth. We are kathir. But we are also, in a sense, wahid in our humanity. Okay? So, if there is something about our humanity, then that is wahid among us, it's common among us. But if it is about our differences, this is kathir. So what I want to say is that you have to be careful. Sometimes we have several things, but you consider a common point between them, that's wahid. So it's not al-kathir bima huwa kathir. You know? So sometimes you look at them as multiple things and you are considering their differences, their multiplicity. But sometimes, although they are multiple, but your judgment is about something which is common, which is one among them. Okay? So, what philosophers want to say is this. If there is something which is absolutely one, there is no way to distinguish inside it different aspects, different parts, different parties, completely one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we said, He is absolutely simple, basit. You cannot find anything in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is a matter of being compound. There is no madde wa surah, there is no jins wa fasl, there is no even wujud and mahiyya as two separate things. So when something is completely one, can from that one single simple thing few things come directly without having something common between them? From one, only one can come. This is the question. Now why? Philosophers have a rule or principle which is very important, and it is underlying قاعده al-Waḥid. And that is لزوم السنخية بين العلة والمعلول. Between cause and effect, there must be some suitability, some conformity. Conformity, suitability. What does it mean? It means that it's not that everything can be cause of everything. Yeah? Can everything be cause of everything? No. It's only certain things that can be cause for certain things. Yeah? Otherwise, it means that you have to say by accident or chance that things happen. If there is water, the effect should be suitable with water. If there is fire, it should be suitable with fire. If there is acid, if there is salt, anything. If the doer of the action is ignorant or is alim, makes difference. Why? Because there must be conformity between illa and ma'lul. Because whatever ma'lul has comes from illa. Can illa lack what is in ma'lul? معطي الشيء لا يمكن أن يكون فاقدا للشيء. The one that gives cannot lack it. Okay? So, because there must be conformity between cause and effect, if in the cause there is only one thing, then how in effect there can be differences? Where do these differences come from? This is why, according to philosophers, although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything, is the cause of the causes, but it's not that everything is in the same relation with Him. There is a hierarchy. There are grades. There are levels. So, for example, they say we have Sadira Awwal. The first thing which is coming from God. The first thing which is issued from Him. Then we have Sadira Dovum, Sadira Sevum. Or according to Masha'in, Aql Awwal, Aql Dovum. The first intellect, the second, then it comes to the 10th intellect. So, in the end, everything is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but certain things have closer relation, certain things have remote relation. The one which is the nearest to Him can only be one. And then from that one, two things can come. From those two other things can come, it comes down.
From the absolute one.
Yes.
Only one thing can come. How come the particular two things?
Because in that kathra comes, for example, the first one which is created by God, it is mahiyya and wujud. And it has two aspects. They have another rule that we had maybe before in previous book. They say, imagine there is a waterfall. On the top of the waterfall, imagine the height is 1,000 meter or 2,000 meter. And this wants to come all the way to the ground. Can water from 2,000 meter height come to the ground by jumping? It has to come through all stages. In other words, you have to feel all the grades to reach here. They say, La tafrata fil wujud. There is no jumping in existence, in the sense that we have to feel all these levels. So, when grace of God comes, it would not leave anything empty. It fills everything and goes down. It's not that jumps over one level and goes to the lower one. Okay? So, if knowledge comes, it comes through different levels. If everything comes, it comes through different levels. So, al-Wahidu la yasturu anhu illa al-Wahid. Sometimes also they use acts for this, and they say, al-Wahidu la yasturu illa an al-Wahid. Also, Wahid can only come from Wahid. So from Wahid, only Wahid can come, and Wahid can only come from one. Okay? Why? لزوم السنخية بين العلة والمعلول. Because between illah and ma'lul must be conformity. Anything which is ma'lul should come from illah. If illah has only one aspect, so ma'lul cannot have different aspects. Or you can say it in this way, which is not mentioned in the book, but some places. If there is one kamal, one perfection in Allah, only one perfection can be in ma'lul. Okay? Let me give you another example. If you have paintings, for example, a child who has not yet gone to school in nursery makes a painting. Then year one makes painting. Suppose they have teachers and they have painting class. Year one, year two, up to university, they go for painting. And then at the top, we have the best painter in the world. Okay? So you have different levels of paintings. What painting you think should come from the best painter of the world? Although the one who is even in the lowest level, everything that he has is known to the best painter. But from the best painter, only the best painting is expected. Then from the second best is expected. From the third, like this, okay? So, when you come down, then it's a spread. So, all perfections are in God, but from God, the first thing should be the second best, means the best after Him. Not something lower. Something lower should come from someone lower than God. Okay? So, although He is creator of everything, even insects, even non-living beings, but they by themselves and individually are too little to be creation of God. You know what I'm saying? This is something that lower than God can do. Yes, the whole world, if you mean the whole universe, massive Allah altogether, of course, only God can create it. But when it comes lower, then within the system that God has created, there are others who are assigned tasks. Okay? For example, like teacher, I can learn from an alim. An alim can learn from an allama. Allama can learn from the prophet. Then the prophet can learn from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am too little to expect to be taught directly by God. I have to, I have to go and learn from my teacher. Of course, something which is very important is that, it's in my understanding, I make always this as a kind of footnote. What we understand from Quran and Hadith is that Allah's hands are not tied in the sense that this system would limit Him. If He decides to teach me something directly, also it's possible. So He has normal procedures, He has extraordinary procedures, and normally He follows the hierarchy, but He has a way to reach me by passing other things, So Quran teaches us this view, which is at the same time that taking into account what philosophers say, but also everything in and out is present to Him. Yes.
If a mufaddisa can place the same argument as a belief,
For what?
how can we answer this?
To say what?
So for example, you say that Allah created, like they say Allah created for human intelligence and they created everything.
But still they are being created by God. They cannot say God delegated to them and retired. Still God is in charge. Like for example, I am maybe top manager, then we have second level managers, but still I am managing them. Mufawwiza said God delegates and goes away. That's the problem. Yes. Okay, please look at the book Al-Fasl al-Rabi' قاعده الواحد. Chapter 4, the rule of al-Wahid. الواحد لا يصدر عنه إلا الواحد. The one does not issue except one. What comes from it is one. In Kalam, we very much use the concept of khalq, creation. But in philosophy, we many times use sudur, which is similar to khalq, but we use sudur. In Irfan, we use tajalli, manifestation. So different concepts, but coming in parallel. Pardon? Issue. Yes. Yeah. To be issued from Him, or eminence, we can say? Emanate from Him, yeah. الواحد لا يستر عنه إلا الواحد وذلك. Now he wants to argue. And this is because أن من الواجب or أن من الضروري, this الواجب, it's not واجب الوجود. أن من الواجب means it is necessary أن تكون بين العلة ومعلولها سنخية ذاتية. This is very important. Between cause and its effect, there must be essential conformity. ليست بين الواحد منهما وغير الآخر. And this conformity does not exist between this cause and another effect, or this effect and another cause. Like, of course, this is very, very simple. But like, for example, between a mother and child, there's a relation that is not between every woman and every child. Yeah? Between mother and the child that this mother has given birth, there is a relation. And still mother is illat i'dadi. Now you can imagine illat mufida, the one that gives existence, and its effect, like between every author and the book that author writes, there's a relation that doesn't exist between all authors and all books. Is it clear? ليست بين الواحد منهما وغير الآخر. This relation of سنخية الذاتي, this conformity, does not exist between one of them and something else, between one of the cause and effect and another thing. Otherwise, if there was no specific relation, جاز كون كل شيء علة لكل شيء. Everything could become cause of everything, or everything become معلول for everything. It's impossible. No one would agree with this. ففي العلة جهة مصانخة لمعلولة. So in illah, there is one aspect which relates, which complies, which conforms with its ma'lul. Okay? There must be something, a relation between. And that aspect which is similar between them, or which there's a kind of resemblance, هي المخصصة لصدوره عنها. And that is the one that determines and defines this can come from that. Okay? فلو صدرت. Pardon?
What you're trying, what you're actually implying is a bit of body in all of us.
That's another thing. What we want to say is that between the immediate cause and the effect, there is a specific relation that cannot be found everywhere. And that is the reason why it has come from that cause. Like relation between child and mother, between book and author. Yeah, that relation is special. It's not that every child can belong to every mother. Every book can belong to every author. Every creature cannot belong to every creator. There is something that relates them. There is a kind of relation that is not available everywhere. فلو صدرت عن العلة الواحدة وهي التي ليست لها في ذاتها إلا جهة واحدة معاليل كثيرة بما هي كثيرة متباينة غير راجعة إلى جهة واحدة بوجه من الوجوه. So, having said that, if from one cause which in its essence has no other aspect, absolutely one, if from something which is absolutely one, multiple effects come which are multiple absolutely, means there is nothing common between them. They have nothing common in between them. So absolute one and absolute multiple, they have no relation with each other. Where does this multiplicity has come from? لازمه تقرر جهات كثيرة في ذاتها وهي ذات جهة واحدة. If this multiple without anything in common between them has come from that one, it means that these multiplicities must exist in that one while we said it is one. It's khilaf. It's khilaf al-faz. It's muhal. You said it is absolutely one. And you say this is kathir bima huwa kathir. There is nothing common between them. So how can then that one be the reason for this? وَيَتَبَيَّنُ بِذَلِكَ أَنَّ مَا يَصْدُرُ عَنْهُ الْكَثِيرُ مِنْ حَيْثُ هُوَ كَثِيرٌ. From this it is made clear that what the thing from which multiple insofar as its multiple comes, not multiple because there is one common thing between them. No, we are not talking about common thing. Multiple and there is nothing common. If there is something from which multiple bima huwa multiple comes, that cannot be wahid. That also has to be kathir. أنما يصدر عنه الكثير من حيث هو كثير, what from which multiple insofar as they are multiple comes, فإن في ذاته جهة كثرة. In that cause must also be a multiple aspect. Another thing that is made clear is أن العلل الكثيرة لا تتوارد على معلول واحد. This is also good because I told you الواحد لا يستر عنه إلا الواحد. Also الواحد لا يستر إلا عن الواحد. Because if you say there is wahid, but there can be multiple causes for it. And this is absolutely one. If ma'lul is absolutely one, how can multiple causes be for that? Yes, there can be multiple causes which are common in one point, and that point is the cause. But if they are multiple and there is no commonality between them, they are totally separate, nothing common between them, how can they be cause for one thing? It's impossible. But the root of all of this is that senkhiyat. Because between ma'lul and illa there is senkhiyat. Because everything that ma'lul has, ma'lul is reflection of illa. Whatever is in ma'lul is from illa, but limited. Yeah, ma'lul has everything from its illa, but illa has it more, but ma'lul has it less. But ma'lul cannot be different from illa altogether. If there is only one thing in illa, one aspect in illa, in ma'lul also can be one aspect. Pardon? Senkhiyah means conformity. Okay, yeah. Al-Fasl al-Khamis, 5th chapter. This is about impossibility of two things. في استحالة في استحالة الدورة والتسلسل في العلل. In causes, among causes, there cannot be door, vicious circle, and tasalsul, endless regression. We had this before in philosophy, we had this also in kalam. Yes. Tonight, maybe I just say about door. I don't know if I can say about tasalsul. Maybe we'll see. But first, door. We cannot have vicious circle in causes. What is vicious circle? A depends on B, and then B also depends on A. In the sense of causality, because if it is not causality, it's possible. Sometimes A can rely on B, B rely on A. Like what? Like we put two bricks like this. This depends on this depends on this. It's not door, this is not vicious circle. But causality means Everything in the effect comes from the cause. So if A is the cause for B, means B has got everything from A. Then B cannot be the cause of A, because this means that A is taking from what he has created. It's impossible. And it doesn't make it better if you add to the numbers. For example, A depends on B, B depends on C, and C depends on A. Or A depends on B, B on C, C on D, and D on A. This is called Dawr Muzmar. Dawr Musarrah, explicit or implicit. Muzmar means it's implicit. Musarrah is explicit, means there is no wasita. So whether it is something in between them or not, it doesn't make any difference. No cause can rely on something that would rely on itself. Yeah? For example, na'uzu billah, like saying Allah created us, but also we created him. Or he has need for us. It's impossible. Amma istihalatu dawr, the impossibility of vicious circle. What is dawr? توقف وجود الشيء على ما يتوقف عليه وجوده. Existence of something depends on something that depends on it. A depends on B, which depends in its existence on A. Imma bila wasita, without anything in between them. وهو الدور المصرح. Tasrih means explicit. وإما بواسطة, or there is one thing between them. A depends on B, B on C. So there is one B in between. Or more than one, أكثر. 2, 3, many can be. This is مضمر, means implicit. وهو الدور المضمر. Okay, why door is mustahil, is impossible? فلأنه يستلزم توقف وجود الشيء على نفسه. Because this implies that something depends on itself. You say A depends on B. B depends on A, so it means A depends on itself. وَلَازِمُهُ. What is the problem if something depends on itself? It means that something should be there before it is there. وَلَازِمُهُ تَقَدُّمُ الشَّيْء عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بِالْوُجُودِ. Must precede itself in existence. A depends on B, means A is before B. But if B also depends on A, then it means that A has to be before itself. لتقدم وجود العلة على وجود المعلول بالضرورة, because إلا in existence should precede existence of معلول. So if something becomes إلا for itself, means it has to precede itself. So A gives everything to B, but then how can B give to A? It means that A is taking from itself. This is very easy. But أما استحالة التسلسل. Why endless regression is impossible? Maybe I say part of this. There are different arguments for this. One of the simplest and firmest arguments is what Sheikh al-Ra'is Ibn Sina has said in Ilahiyat al-Shifa. Shifa, is a very huge book. It has mantiq, it has tabi'iyat, it has riyadiyat, it has Shifa, Ilahiyat also. وَأَمَّا اسْتِحَالَةُ التَّسَلْسُلِ, impossibility of endless regression, وَهُوَ تَرَتُّبُ الْعِلَالِ لَا إِلَى نَهَايَةٍ. causes depend on each other, this on another thing, that another thing, and there is no limit. La ila nahaya means there is no end. Endless regression. Okay? فَمِنْ أَسَدِّ الْبَرَاهِينِ. Asad with shadda means firmest, from sadda. Sadda yasudu. It is not asad in the sense of liar. One of the firmest arguments عليها على استحالة التسلسل is what is offered, presented by Sheikh al-Rais in Ilahiyat al-Shifa. وَمُحَسَّلُهُ, and its overall meaning is this. I first explain it from outside, then we read the book. If we have three things, A, B, C. A created B, B created C. C is ma'lul, wala illa. The lowest one is effect, but it's not cause for anything. The middle one is ma'lul for what is higher and illa for what is lower. And the top is only illa, not ma'lul. Okay? If you make it 4, A, B, C, D, E. Again, D is ma'lul wala illa. A is illa wala ma'lul. Those in between are illa and ma'lul. Illa for lower, ma'lul for higher. We make it 5. Again, the one on the top is illa wala ma'lul. The one in the bottom is ma'lul wala illa. The 3 in middle, illa and ma'lul. Okay? 6, 7, 8 million, trillion, whatever you add, the top and the bottom are the same. But Tasalsul says that there is no illa which is not ma'lul. Every illa is also ma'lul for something else. He said this is impossible. At the end, there must always be something which is illa wala ma'lul. Is cause but not ma'lul. Is uncaused cause. This is the firmest argument according to Allah. أَنَّا إِذَا فَرَضْنَا مَعْلُولًا وَإِلَّتَهُ وَإِلَّةَ إِلَّتِهِ. If we take an effect and its cause and the cause of its cause, وَأَخَذْنَا هَذِهِ الْجُمْلَةِ. If we take this whole of 3 things, cause of ma'lul and the cause of the cause, will be 3, yeah? وجدنا كلا من الثلاثة ذا حكم ضروري يختص به. Each of these 3 has one property which is necessary for it and is exclusive. معلول ولا علة, علة ولا معلول, and those which are in between, معلول وعلة. If it's 3, if you make it 4, the same thing. 5. فالمعلول المفروض معلول فقط. The one that you have taken with its cause and the cause of its cause. So this معلول is only معلول. علته, its cause علة لما بعدها معلولة لما قبلها. Is the cause for what comes after it and its effect for what comes before it. وَإِلَّةُ الْعِلَّةِ, but the cause of the cause is only cause and it's not ma'lul. It's not effect. On the top, if we have only 3 things, on the top it's only cause, not ma'lul. فَكَانَ مَا هُوَ مَعْلُولٌ فَقَطْ طَرَفًا. The one which is only ma'lul is one part. Taraf means end. It's one end. ما هو علة فقط طرفا آخر, what is only cause is on the other side. وكان ما هو علة ومعلول معا وسطا بين طرفين. What is cause and effect? Cause for the lower and effect for the higher is in between. ثم إذا فرضنا الجملة أربعة مترتبة. If we consider four things that depend on each other as hierarchy. Again, كان للطرفين ما تقدم من حكم الطرفين. For two sides, the lowest and the highest, exactly the same thing repeats. The lowest is معلول ولا إلا. The top is إلة ولا معلول. But those which are wasat are معلول وإلا. In the three members, we had only one in wasat. If we have four, we have two in wasat. If we have five, we have three in wasat. But top is always one, bottom is also one. He said it about haraka, but Ibn Sina said it about tasalsul fil ilal, but it is related to it. It has the same point. ثم إذا فرضنا الجملة أربعة مترتبة كان للطرفين. If we take four things that are coming in a row, كان للطرفين, for two sides, ما تقدم, the same thing that we said before, من حكم الطرفين, about two sides. وكان الاثنان الواقعان بين الطرفين مشتركين في حكم الوسط. Those two in between have the same ruling, that they are معلول and إلا. وهو أن لهما الإلية والمعلولية معا. They are both معلول and إلا. Of course, معلول for something higher than them and إلا for something lower than them. ثم كلما زدنا في عدد الجملة, no matter how many times we increase to the number, إلى ما لا نهاية له, keep adding, كان الأمر جاريا على مجرى واحد. It will continue the same way. وكان مجموع ما بين الطرفين, what would be between the top and the bottom, وهي العدة التي كل واحد من آحادها إلة ومعلول. What is between the top and between the bottom is إلا and معلول وسطا له حكمه. فرزنا سلسلة من العلال مترتبة إلى غير النهاية. But suppose if we were going to have tasalsul, then it means that we would have no taraf. لو فرزنا سلسلة من العلل مترتبة إلى غير النهاية كان ما وراء المعلول الأخير من الجملة غير المتناهية وسطا لا طرف له وهو المحال. If it was endless, then what we said would not be true, because the last one, it must have something on top of it which is not ma'lul. It's only illa. But according to this, there is wasat without taraf, because they say everything is effect of something higher, and that is because they want to not accept existence of God. Yeah, they want to say, okay, this is ma'lul created by something else. That is ma'lul created by something else. We say no. At the end, we should reach a place that it's wajibul wujud, it's uncaused. Otherwise, we cannot explain why they have come to existence.
I think the first lesson you taught us. This is one of the first lessons you taught the first year. I remember.
Yes. Because in Aqaid also we discussed this.
Yeah.
Yes. وهذا البرهان يجري في كل سلسلة مترتبة من العلل. Of course, this argument we are concerned about علل التي لا تفارق وجودها وجود المعلول. Real illah is something that must exist with ma'lul. Illah cannot be separated from ma'lul. Real illah, the one that gives existence. We are not talking about mu'iddat. Mu'iddat is not that much matter because mu'iddat don't need to be with ma'lul. Mu'id can disappear and mu'id can go maybe endlessly. Of course, I don't think even mu'iddat can go endlessly, but that's not our concern. What is our concern is the giver of existence, because we want to prove the existence of wajibul wujud. Okay? Mu'iddat can be there with Allah, with ma'lul, or can stop to exist. Even maybe you can have tasalsul among mu'iddat, or at least door. Anyway, it doesn't harm us. There is another, how much time we have? We have 5 minutes? Okay. There is another argument which is actually easier. You are already familiar with this. You remember we said, according to asalatul wujud, it's better if we deal with wujud directly. Although mahiyya is not wrong to talk about it, but mahiyya depends on wujud. Mahiyya is the second, the one which is primordial is wujud. Mahiyya, we talk about mahiyya, mutasawiyatun nisba ila al-wujud wal-adam and imkan zati and all those things. But when it comes to wujud, we said wujudul ma'lul aynul rabt bil-illah. Imkan wujudi, faqr wujudi, existential poverty. Wujudul ma'lul is a type of wujud which is like a link, which is dependent. Okay? If you have ma'lul, means you have dependent existence. This needs a cause. If that cause is also ma'lul, again, that is also dependent. In the end of the day, we should have something which can be independent. Otherwise, these are all going to collapse. Because they say we cannot survive. We need to depend on something. And the whole combination is also dependent. I ask you a question. If you have one dependent thing or 10 dependent things, does poverty stop? No. Actually, poverty becomes more. If you have one level of managers or 10 levels of managers, still you have to give them salary. It's not that by increasing them, you say this takes from the other one, that takes from the other one, and then, we don't need to give them anything. If you add to these layers, you have to give more. So, there is a second way to explain that it's impossible to have endless regression in illah, and that is through the concept of faqr wujudi, to say that existence of ma'lulat or mumkinat is a type of existence that essential, is poor, is dependent, it's like a link. It cannot survive on its own. And if they depend on something, that is also the same, it doesn't solve the problem. We should finally reach the point which is solid and can be self-subsistent.
Can you explain what is Bidayat, please?
Preparatory. Those things that we need for existence but are not giving existence. Like father, mother, builder for building. We need them, but they are not giving existence. Therefore, they can separate, they can disappear. يدل على وجوب تناهي العلل التامة خاصة. It also proves the necessity of limitedness of complete causes. We are talking about complete causes because we want to talk about the one that has existential fact, initiation. ما تقدم, what was said before, أن وجود المعلول وجود رابط بالنسبة إلى علته. What we said before, that the existence of the effect is link, is a kind of relational with respect to its cause. فإنه لو ترتبت العلية والمعلولية في سلسلة غير متناهية, if this cause and effect continues in an endless سلسلة series من غير أن تنتهي إلى علة غير معلوم, without stopping at a cause which is not caused, if it doesn't stop there, كانت وجودات رابطة متحققة من غير وجود نفسي مستقل تقوم به. Then it means that we have so many dependent beings without something which is independent that they can rely on it. وهو محال. And then he says ولهم على استحالة التسلسل حجج أخرى مذكورة في المطولات. Philosophers have also other arguments that in more detailed books are mentioned. So we have mentioned for you 2 arguments. Okay? وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.